Hey friends, welcome to the 3x5 Leadership Podcast, where we champion intentional leaders who create significant impacts. In this show, we share simple, practical strategies to help you live, lead, and learn more intentionally. So to learn more about 3x5 leadership and to explore all of our resources to help you become a more intentional leader, go to our website at 3x5leadership.com. Now, let's get into today's episode, where we explain how 3 simple questions can transform how you think, how you communicate, how you develop others, and ultimately, how you lead. So, let's get to it. I'm Josh Bowen, and I first want to welcome you to our very first 3x5 Leadership Podcast episode. We are so excited to get this started, and I'm thrilled that you have joined us, so thank you. Now, intentional leadership demands a lot of us every day. It involves some essential activities like reflection, communication, being curious and asking questions, and developing other leaders. All of these require us to make or to find a clear and compelling point. What is the issue or the idea? Why does it matter? Why should I care and ultimately commit to doing something about it? Today, I offer the 3 most important questions that I use to unlock clarity around, give purpose to, and create an actionable plan for any idea that I have or message that I convey. So I woke up pretty early this morning, before my wife and kids got up. I made a cup of coffee, took a seat at our kitchen table, pulled out a blank piece of paper and pen to begin working on the new 3x5 blog article. And while getting up early and starting with a blank canvas like that is a regular habit for me, so is what I do with the paper to start crafting each new piece. I draw lines to break the paper up into 3 sections, and I title each of them using 5 total words. What? So what? And now what? This is how I begin to design my argument and structure the article. So I start with what. Here is where I clarify and bring focus to the topic. What are we talking about? And also, what are we not talking about? I use this question to do 2 things, to draft my thesis and to define key components of my argument. So for an article on, say, mentorship, I'll first build an argument like, many of us don't have a mentor, although it is one of the most powerful and developmental relationships that we can engage in. We fail to have a mentor because we keep blinders up and don't see the many diverse mentoring relationships and opportunities around us. Now, after formulating our argument, I may need to go on to define mentoring and bring to light that it can look different than what we expect. Maybe like seeking mentorship from a peer or a colleague. Maybe a short-term relationship, group learning, or even virtual relationships. So as you can see, the what question can be quite versatile, but it ultimately aims to bring focus to the topic and clarity around it. Then I transition to question 2, so what? Here, I argue why this topic is worth reading about, caring about, and even doing something about. I give purpose to the argument and relevance to others' lives. In the case of the mentoring argument, I can offer statistics about the power of mentoring. I can list the benefits of it and how it impacts your leadership. Or I can tell my own mentoring story as an anecdote. These all aim to hook the reader who is asking, sure, I get mentoring, but why should I care? Why should I go out of my way to pursue mentoring? So through question 2, I now, hopefully, have hooked the reader. Which then leads to the final question, now what? I don't wish to merely pontificate on the topic. I want to offer recommendations for future action to equip others to successfully take some first steps. So to answer the now what question, we can offer a list of initial steps to take, equip them with resources to learn more maybe, or define a habit that they can use to make certain actions natural within their leadership. So with the mentoring argument, after equipping the reader with a better understanding of what mentoring relationships can look like, here I can offer a few opportunities that they can explore this week to extract the value of mentorship from the relationships that already exist in their life. So through these 3 questions, I clarify my idea, I complete my argument, and I make it compelling to call others to action. And this is just one powerful way that I use the 3 important questions. So let's quickly review the questions so that we understand what we're actually talking about. The three questions make up a single and very simple framework. This framework helps me to clarify an idea, complete an argument, and to craft compelling messages. The three questions, again, using a total of 5 words, are 1. What? This defines the idea or the argument at hand. It helps you focus and fully describe what you're exploring. It can look like what I described in the mentoring article, or it can help you make connections between seemingly unrelated ideas, like one I recently explored, which was, what is the relationship between feedback and developmental experiences? What comes from that relationship? So, the first question is what? Second is so what? This gives purpose to the idea. Why do I need to care about mentorship or feedback or developmental experiences or whatever the topic, the idea is at hand? Why should others care about your idea as well? Why should they listen to your argument? And you need to help others understand why. Finally is now what? Until this point, we've actually just are simply trying to bring clarity to the idea and help others understand. Now what transitions us from thinking to doing. It calls us to action. With understanding and so what do I need to do about it now? And that's it. Those are the 3 simple questions. But as you can see, the framework, these 3 questions and 5 total words, could be pretty powerful for your learning and your ability to communicate. And if you notice, the 3 questions actually follow the logical flow of what, why, and then finally how. Now, of course, I can't end the episode without a few recommendations on now what. How can we use this framework? How can you use this framework? So I want to share just 3 main ways that I use this framework pretty much every single day. The first one is I use it for personal reflection. I'm trying to make sense of a recent experience, clarify my learning from a book I just finished, or trying to make connections between seemingly unrelated and random ideas. I turn to the 3 questions to structure my thinking. It helps me organize my thoughts, give meaning to them, and finally create a path forward to do something about it. The number 2 way, I use this framework when making an argument. And I think one of the most impactful ways to use this is to actually communicate change to your team. Change is hard, it's scary, and it will certainly face a lot of resistance. But you can help settle nerves, help others understand, you can paint an encouraging picture of the future, and ultimately illuminate a clear path forward by organizing your argument using the 3 simple questions. Tell them what's changing. Then rather than just simply telling them what's going to happen with the change, help them understand why. What is the urgent need? Why is our current state untenable? Why does this matter for our survival? Help them to see the need and invite them to join you. And finally, when you end with the now what question, you make the change a lot less scary. Give them the first set of steps that you all will take to initiate this change. And show them it's not as big or hard as they might actually think. This final step can also show them that there are plenty of things that won't change as part of the whole process, which helps them anchor those knowns that will still endure through the process. And finally, the 3rd way that I use these questions is when leading like a developmental conversation with someone, maybe say with a mentee. If during our meeting, a mentee of mine expresses a lot of concern around maybe a current struggle they're experiencing at work or with a relationship, I use the questions to structure and guide our conversation. First, clarify what the root of the problem is. Let's get to the heart of the issue and not just simply dance around superficial symptoms, which so often happen. Second, why does this matter? Because it does. Let's talk about why this is such a big concern. Maybe the challenge challenges your reputation. Maybe it challenges your credibility. Maybe your integrity. Is it a relationship that's maybe hindering you or your team's progress in decision making? We can use the questions just to help our mentee or the other person know that this issue matters and it's okay to be concerned. It can also improve their self-awareness through the whole process as well. And lastly, the now what part moves us from simply venting or complaining to actually productively creating a plan of action and doing something about it. So the 3 questions, they're simple, versatile, super powerful. The framework serves as a guide to structure your thinking, make it clear and compelling, and create action around it. And I believe you can find ways to use them to unlock ways to grow, create compelling and impactful messages, and energize others' development. So now, to end, I just want to offer one simple step to use these questions more effectively. Just start by writing them down. That's it. Like I shared in my article, brainstorming process at the beginning of the episode, I encourage you to write out the questions on paper or a whiteboard. Use those as buckets maybe to gather and organize your thoughts. Then, with that, you can iterate over them, you can clarify them more with them written out in front of you. And through that, you'll achieve much clearer thought, more compelling message, and deeper developmental conversations. So that's it. That is it for our first episode, friends. And I'm so glad that you joined us. Now, as you go, I do want to ask for just 3 simple favors. First, just give us a like and a review. It's a simple way for others to discover us, check us out, and to know that it's worth their time. Second, go to our website at 3x5leadership.com. There, you can check out all of our great resources and get our free guide on the 10 habits of intentional leaders. And then finally, if you want to get more out of 3x5 and go deeper, consider joining our Patreon community, where you'll get even more insight from and access to our team. And you can find the link into the show notes. So, until next time, friends, take care and lead well.